Hi.
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 Hi. I know is that our new hi? Sorry. I didn't do my nasal spray and the Santa Ana's have me all. Whew.
We should do the little
I do
highs back and forth the way British people get off the phone.
How do they do that? Hi.
Bye 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 bye.
I need more British friends. Anyway.
We all do, darling.
I'm Janie Haddad Tompkins.
I'm Paul F. Tompkins.
He's a comedian.
She's an actress.
Together, we're married.
That's right.
We're trying not to get or give COVID, so we don't leave our house and we make a podcast once a week.
Try not to get it. Try not to give it.
No G or G.
Here's what
G or G.
Here's what I wish
G
would
and
happen.
G.
I wish we would all get vaccinated.
Yeah.
So that we had the ability to give it, but not get it.
Which we might, by the way.
And then the aliens come and we wipe them out.
Wait a minute.
It's like War of the Worlds. They were killed by the cold.
Oh, God. They were? That's what got them?
That's pretty much what it was. It was like
Weather?
the common cold. Yeah. No, not like a cold.
Oh,
like
they got a cold. They got a cold.
They got a cold.
That's
the
like why you can't
take.
take cucumbers into Canada or some shit. Like when
It's the same principle.
when you fly to
They call
Hawaii.
it the War of the Worlds clause.
And then they're like, you're flying to Hawaii and they're like, you can't bring in any bananas.
Where was it that I went? Maybe it was New Zealand where.
And you had a fucking apple.
No, I didn't.
Oh.
What?
Did somebody have an apple?
I was going to say there's a trash can that's like right before you get into customs. It's like, look, we told you this already. There's like a sign that's like a very weary sign that's like, you already know you're not supposed to bring that shit in here. Look in your bag right now. Do you have any apples? Do you have any milk? Throw it in this can.
I mean, we can do that, but we let COVID fly all over the fucking world.
It's unstoppable. Mr. Worldwide.
They were like,
COVID-19.
a new coronavirus? A new coronavirus 2019? A new coronavirus disease 2019? Well, pack your bags. Because we're going to travel till the cows come home,
That's
baby.
right. Until we're not allowed to travel anymore.
We're going to travel so much that we're going to make travel stop.
Can I say a great dumb thing I saw on Twitter?
Yeah.
Which is one of these conservative idiots who's like, he's like a famous on Twitter kind of guy.
Uh-huh.
And he said... He made a list of all the things that Biden overturned in his first day in office.
Yeah.
And one of them was the travel ban. And so on the list was
the Muslim travel ban.
He just said travel ban.
Oh.
So because they don't want to call it the Muslim travel ban because that's what it is. But so he said reverse the travel ban. Made masks mandatory on federal property or whatever.
Sure.
And then some genius responded to him saying, if you have to,
what?
Why did he reverse the travel ban when we're not supposed to be traveling anywhere? It's like, no, stupid.
You know what? I love that person.
Yeah.
Because they're just like, I don't understand. There was some kind of
I'm so used to calling it the travel ban and eliminating the racist part of it that I forgot.
Wait, they're totally clueless. They're they had no idea that they were trying to stop religion from coming into a free country.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like,
exactly.
What?
That it was federal racial profiling, religious profiling.
Okay, so here we are.
Entertain us.
One of my favorite things of this week, because the inauguration happened. Oh my God. This week's been yeah, y'all. Paul slept through well, you didn't sleep through the evening part, the performances.
No, I did see a lot of the performances.
We didn't see all of them though.
No, I missed a few.
We tuned in a little. I
missed John Bon Jovi, Bruce Springsteen.
I mean, you missed everything because the inauguration was nice, and then, but my favorite thing that happened this week was there was always like fun fashion at the inauguration.
Yes, there was. There were a lot of good looks at the inauguration.
It made me jealous because I was like, I wish I had to dress nice to go to a place right now, because like all I've worn is sweatpants for a year. So, and the only person who didn't really dress swank was Bernie Sanders, and he was like sitting in these giant mittens with his mask on. And they took a picture of him just like sitting there with his arms crossed, and then it became like this giant meme that has brought me endless joy.
There's a lot of really good ones. I would say that today was the day it started to feel like too much candy.
Really?
Yes, it did. It was too many.
But then what about the one we just got with OJ? Oh my God, Cuckoo.
Hi, Cuckoo.
Cuckoo's early tonight. So they had the picture of OJ putting on the gloves.
Yes, and they were Bernie's mittens.
And they were Bernie's mittens. and if the glove doesn't fit, you must have quit.
The best one I saw was the Ghost one, where it was the scene from funny. Ghost with Demi Moore and the pottery, and then the hands come around and it's Bernie's mittens.
I also like partook in the this guy built like a program where you could type in any address and it would plot Bernie.
Oh, yes, I saw that.
So I got a kick out of some local ones from my hometown, which would not translate except to a select few.
Right.
So I was able to share those with certain. Oh, I thought you were going to sneeze because there's like so much.
I wouldn't give you the satisfaction.
All I do is sneeze all day, by the way. And then we got these air filters over the summer when the fires were really bad. And then Paul was like, are those air filters like helping you at all?
We have 3 of them, and they've been running nonstop. And it was just today that I was like, man, I think I've had enough of those air filters. But I needed to check with you to see.
What was crazy is he's like, do you think they're helping you? And I was literally like, how would I know? Like, I don't know.
You would have to.
I have no idea.
You have to know, though.
I don't know.
But then that means they're not really doing anything.
I don't know. The filters are dirty. That came from somewhere.
That's true. That is true. There was one we left too long and it became a different color.
Well, that one, but we get the new filters like every 6 months, and they're gonna send. Aww. And then I was like, well, I don't know because I sneeze all day long, so maybe I vacuum like twice a week. I mean, y'all, you have no idea. We change the HVAC filter like every 3 months now. Mm-hmm. We have the air filters running 24/7. I'm vacuuming every 4 days. I'm still sneezing all day, so.
But so you don't think it's lessened?
I don't know. I'd have to go without them, and then you'd have to count my sneezes.
Oh, this sounds like a fun couples project.
Also, I forgot to put my nasal spray in today.
Oh, honey, how could you?
Yeah, so that was bad. So, what else?
I want to give an update on the squirrel picnic bench.
Did you move it?
No, I haven't moved it yet.
Oh.
So
I
get the squirrel picnic bench.
Yeah.
Because I have seen them, and then a friend of mine got one. Shout out to Ellen. Sent me a video of a squirrel sitting on this bench in the tree, eating a fucking apple. I was like, I gotta do it.
Yeah.
Get it. Put it in the lemon tree that's right outside our kitchen window.
Which is really kind of the perfect spot for it, because if we're like washing a dish at the sink, we could then look at a squirrel.
You could see a little fat squirrel sitting there eating some peanuts.
Yeah.
But here's what I've noticed is that not only has
no animal has touched
it has in it a little galvanized bucket,
like a lunch pail, a squirrel lunch pail.
And so I filled that with peanuts. No squirrel has touched it. No other creature has touched it either, which is strange. There's other things. But I've also noticed that we don't get as many birds in that tree as we used to.
Well, we trimmed the tree.
Yeah, it's been pruned.
We had the tree trimmed.
So do you think it's a different environment now?
Like an inhospitable one?
Maybe, but I don't think we've ever seen squirrels in there because I think it's too close to the dogs next door.
Yeah, those damn dogs
We're always there. So I think, because I saw a squirrel on the other side today.
The other side of the property.
I want to remove it from the lemon tree.
That's what I think. I think you should put it on. I was kind of thinking you should put it on the fence in the driveway because then we could see it outside that side window.
Mm-hmm.
But
we never look out that window.
I'm a little worried, like, because our driveway is so narrow. If we had like a tall truck, one day, needing
to get access,
not that
we buy an 18-wheeler.
By the way, our one neighbor.
Oh my God.
They're like the nicest people, though.
They really. This is not anything against them, but they do have
all these vehicles.
A fleet of vehicles,
different vehicles, different kinds of vehicles.
What? It's crazy.
So okay,
it's wild.
There's like his work truck. Then there's like
we do not know what his job is, do we?
No, he's like an electrician.
Oh, okay,
or something. And then she has an SUV for like daily errands and stuff. Then their adult daughter has like a muscle car.
She has a gray muscle car.
Yeah. So that's just like 3.
Those are 3 regular vehicles.
But then he has like a smaller truck, I think. Doesn't he have? He has a big truck. He has like a work truck and then like a big truck. But then he also has a motorcycle.
That's right.
And they have an RV.
Yeah.
That is periodically. And by the way, like the way that we have to park in our neighborhood, because there's like street cleaning on certain mornings.
And these streets are immaculate, let me tell you.
And just like the way that like people park tandem here, because it's like very small little parcels of area. Like we're all like next to each other. And there's not like a giant like driveway where you can drive around in a U shape or something like that. It's like the most narrow. Like,
did you ever see Roma?
It is Roma. Because you call it the Roma. You're like, it is like Roma. The driveway is like.
Yeah.
So, like, we couldn't put the squirrel bench there because it would get Roma'd off. It would get Roma'd off.
And our driveway is also covered with dog shit.
It would be like clipped. It would be clipped off. Anyway, that's them.
But I think I would like to put it, because we have that one tree in the front yard, that little tree, that has the dirt circle around it.
Uh-huh.
And I would like to put it in that dirt circle on the ground.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, that shit's going to get mauled by skunks and raccoons.
They're just going to eat the food. They're not going to maul the bench.
They might haul it off to some situation.
Well, but here's the thing, though, is that skunks can't climb, but raccoons can climb. So why is it that this bench only attracts, you only ever see squirrels? I mean, are people covering up that raccoons will steal all the food?
How come no raccoon has stolen that food? Because no raccoon would be scared of those dogs. I don't think.
I don't know. We never see raccoons. We see possums.
We see possums.
Skunks.
We see skunks.
P-22, the mountain lion's been back there.
I like when I see the skunks. I'm not going to lie.
Skunks are very cute and very funny. What weird creatures. Their whole thing is like evolutionarily was like, we love eating shit out of the ground. That's it. And so to protect ourselves, we're going to shoot stink out of our asses. Because we're certainly not going to do anything with our legs or our little hands. We're not going to be able to climb anything. This is it, because we don't want to stop eating things out of the ground.
Yeah, I guess that's their deal.
That's their deal. Hey, God love you. God love you if that's your deal.
You know what? I was just realizing we watched 7.
Yes, we watched. That was a little comfort view.
And I was like, now I'm realizing, like, should we have done watch along to 7?
That's a good question.
Because, like, first of all, we had seen it before, obviously.
Yes, and we both liked it before.
Well, I like David Fincher.
Yes, as do I.
So I was like, okay, fine. But I didn't really watch it because I was like on my screen.
No, I mean, it was a familiar thing. We wanted a familiar thing to be on TV.
Yeah, we were kind of like wrung out. And then we were like, let's just watch something.
We rode hard, put away wet. And I suggested 7, and then and I was excited because I hadn't seen it in a long time. And
I don't think I
had
had seen it in a long time.
I had a real hankering to watch it. And then for me personally, it did not hold up that well.
I have to say I kind of agreed because first of all, I had forgotten that it was like such a gross out movie.
Pretty gross.
You know?
Yeah.
Like I remember that they were like hunting a killer and all of that, but like I didn't remember all of the gory, gross details that they showed, like torture stuff and stuff like that. Because I guess I was just like remembering the performances and sort of the style and
the mood. Like you remember how the movie felt.
Yes. And I kind of love like those like serial killer movies where they're like, he's referencing an old religious text. And then they have to like go to the library and they're like, and then they discover in some like dusty old text, like they discover like, this is what he's trying to tell us or whatever. And I'm like, oh, I like that kind of brainy stuff. Like, I think that's a fun thing.
Do you know what I'm realizing about it too? Is that there was that aspect of it, and yet it did not help the detectives at all.
It just explained it to the audience, though.
Yes,
it explained it to the audience.
But the killer
was like 8 steps ahead.
Always
8 steps ahead.
One thing that was surprising to me upon rewatch is that Brad Pitt plays in this movie a straight up dolt. Like he's a stupid guy who somehow is a police detective.
He's like, well, okay, because like here's the deal. The most gorgeous people in the world, Brad Pitt and Gwyneth Paltrow.
And Morgan Freeman.
Well, no, but I'm talking about their characters specifically.
Yes.
We're like, we're from the podunk country and we're moving to the big bad city.
The big bad unnamed city.
And crazy
where it rains
city.
all the time.
Yeah. And it's like, come on, guys. Like, if you're going to move to the city, just become models. Like, okay.
Yeah.
And then I was like, Gwyneth Paltrow is like so miscast in this part. Like it is such a lame part for her and it's wrong for her because she's basically like, I'm just a country housewife that wants to stand by my man and, you know, and I don't know much about the big city and, oh, he's hunting a serial killer. I'll just let this stranger in the apartment.
Yeah.
Or whatever. And it's like, I don't buy that for 5 fucking cents. Like, this is a woman that went to the best, probably private schools in Manhattan, probably has been a guest at the White House, you know, like is the most sophisticated, wears like, you know, Versace or I just was like, no, this is like wrong. I don't know why we bought that kind of stuff back then.
My thing that really struck me this time was how Brad Pitt's clothes were all 4 sizes too big. And I think they might have been trying to do a subtext thing of like, he's naive and young. He's like a little boy compared to Morgan
like wearing
Freeman.
His daddy's like suit or something.
Yeah. But I mean, that was because at first I thought, oh, is this a 90s thing? Because I know that cuts of clothing were different back then.
There was some baggy stuff in the 90s, weren't there?
But nobody was wearing like pirate shirts with a tie. He looked ridiculous.
Also, by the way, if you're going to cast Brad Pitt as your lead, put him in some clothes that fit.
That's right, girlfriend.
Because, like, why are you going to waste that? You know what I'm saying?
Do you remember when he took his shirt off in Once Upon a Time in America?
Do I?
Now that's
of course
Hollywood.
I do.
Now that's Hollywood.
That's how you utilize Brad Pitt in your movie. Don't you remember Thelma and Louise? I mean, was he like basically like, listen, I don't want to do this Thelma and Louise shit anymore.
I'm not going to wear a tight t-shirt. I want you to put me in a size 4XL dress shirt. 4XL Oxford.
Maybe the costume budget got blown on the obese dummy that was tortured.
Later seen in the clumps.
Hey, reuse and recycle.
Right? Can I talk about, I worked yesterday.
Yes, you guys. Paul was hopefully not exposed to COVID on a set.
Fingers crossed.
Although he worked with Harry,
and sanitized.
He worked with Harry Potter, and I'm kind of like, no way are they going to let Harry Potter have an unsafe set.
No, he must be protected at all costs.
Also, by the way, like some of the conversations I'm having with my friends are like, I bet a set is safer than like other places right now because of the protocols. Like,
because
unions.
more people are.
The unions are looking out. I mean, they're
people
trying.
are accountable. But it did feel pretty safe. It was out. It's Miracle Workers season 3.
It's a TBS comedy.
A TBS show. It's a really funny show, and every season it's set in a different time and place with the same
This
cast.
is the 3rd season.
Yes, and this one's set in the Old West. So I got to the set. First, my call time was 5:30 p.m. Then that got pushed to 8 p.m. And I was like, I wonder how long this is going to go.
Also, when Paul told me that, I was like, oh my God, it's an overnight. It's an overnight. And he's like, they didn't tell me it was.
Nobody said that term. Nobody used that term.
And
it was just, I saw on the call sheet, it was 3 scenes they were shooting. I was in the last scene of the day. So I was like, okay, that'll be late, but how late will it be?
Yeah.
Well, it turned out to be, I got on camera at 1.
You got home at like 3:30 in the morning, like 3:30. Yeah.
I got home at 4.
I was like so scared. I was like, okay, I'm going to leave my ringer on really loud next to my head. I was like, if you break down, because you had to go to like Podunk Ranch out like in the Angeles Forest somewhere. And I was like,
yeah, it's like 45 minutes away. Yeah.
I was like, I don't want you to break down and not, even though we have AAA.
I would have called you to call AAA.
Right.
So and it's Daniel Radcliffe, Harry Potter is the lead of the show. So I have 2 scenes. I shot one last night.
Is he cute?
He's
Is he cute?
Of course he is. He's adorable. He's everything you want him to be. He's so sweet and
lovely.
Nice. He is lovely.
Intelligent.
Lovely.
Seems intelligent. No, bright.
He's super smart and fun and friendly and grounded.
Amazing that he's grounded.
Yes,
amazing
absolutely.
that he's grounded.
Absolutely.
Though,
he's like a normal person. I don't know how that happened. But he was delightful.
Aren't all of them? The casts of the Harry Potters, aren't they all?
As far as I know, I don't really see the rest of them in other stuff. I see him in stuff.
Emma Watson?
Yeah.
She like speaks out on like human rights stuff. And
that sounds familiar.
Yeah. I mean, come on.
So I get to here's my only COVID issues were I was in the makeup trailer. And they wanted to, because it's the Old West, they wanted to like twist my mustache a little bit, like put some wax in it and make it look more charactery. And so my mustache is just long enough that you can do that a little bit. You can suggest
they could put like some extensions on it if they wanted.
I don't know how tricky that would be. Mustache extensions.
They can do it on eyelashes like no big deal.
Oh, that's true. That's true. But maybe because that's just a row of hairs as opposed to...
I don't think so.
You don't think
it
so?
would be easy.
Well,
they would have to know in advance to get that.
They would have to know in advance. Well, I told them I had a mustache. I'm in the clear here.
Yeah.
So, this is the first time that I've been on a set since pandemic where someone is touching my face with their bare hands.
So wait, you were on a set though in October, but they didn't touch your face?
That makeup was applied with sponges
wands.
and whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
And this was like, she's putting her hands on my lip and face,
No. Bare hands.
Then she calls another guy over, like to get his opinion. Then he starts touching my face.
What the fuck, people?
And I'm like, I'm not crazy about this.
Yeah, what the fuck?
And then when the guy was heading out, and he said, it's up to you, but I'd put some stuff on his teeth, like I'd dull his teeth too, because this is the Old West, and this guy's supposed to be like kind of broken down and everything.
Oh, okay.
And then the person doing my makeup said, what do you think? And I said, look, my teeth aren't that great to begin with. I think I can sell it with acting. And she laughed, but he didn't laugh. But I was like, I'm not, at this point, nobody's going in my mouth.
Right.
Like, I'm not going to let you put shit in my mouth.
The only good thing about this is that everyone has to test before even showing up. So hopefully.
Yeah.
But that is a little weird.
Yes.
Like,
and
put on some gloves.
Because you want to trust people.
On.
And who knows? She might have done that to put stuff on my teeth, but it's like,
to put stuff on your teeth, she probably used like a brush.
Yeah, but we're not, it's a comedy. You know what I mean? It's not like.
Right. It's not like a
historical.
historical.
That deep into it. Yeah.
It's not the Coen brothers.
Nobody's teeth would have been good. Daniel Radcliffe's teeth certainly didn't have shit on them.
But he's Brit. He's a Brit, so they probably didn't have to.
He has lovely teeth.
He has nice teeth.
He's a modern Brit.
Okay. Sorry, Brits. I know that's like the worst stereotype ever.
It's one of the few.
I actually
let us have it.
I like imperfect teeth. That's just like something I personally.
Hey, look who you with.
Well, it's true because am I allowed to tell like in previous jobs where they've?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
There was a time when we were like, you had gotten a pilot leg right when we first started dating, and the network made you get it's called a flipper.
Yeah,
which is stupid. But it's like a piece of fake teeth that you put in between your front teeth.
Yeah. To
appear like you don't have a space in your teeth.
Yeah.
Which is stupid. Like I was offended.
I
didn't like it.
I wasn't crazy about it, but
why was that so important to your character?
It wasn't so surprising. Yeah, I don't know that if you. It turns out the show didn't go, so that it was not my teeth that were the problem.
Also, by the way, wasn't the show like essentially Modern Family before it was Modern?
Pretty much, yeah.
But it was a different creator, right? It wasn't Steve
No, Steve Levitan did not create that show, but two of the writers that created that show went on to work for Modern Family. So they use that
as a spec to get hired in the Modern Family room.
Well, no, Modern Family didn't exist yet.
That's what I'm saying. They used that pilot as a spec.
No, they
used hired later.
Oh, right. Probably. Yeah. It's like, look, we already did this.
We came up with this idea that would have made us gazillionaires.
We had a much smaller cast. But that wasn't, they also made me get an acting coach. The network, somebody on the network made me get an acting coach. And I remember the acting coach was very cool because they just knew that I was a stand-up.
Job, yeah.
They knew I was a stand-up, but they're like, I don't think you can handle what if you can't handle the emotional moments? And it's like,
a sitcom?
Sitcom emotional moments. So,
also like stand-ups can be emotional.
Yeah, exactly. And also I got the part.
Some stand-ups can't act very well though.
That's absolutely true.
And so like, unfortunately, like just stand-ups in general gave you a bad name.
Yes, exactly. Did you ever hear that story about Tim Allen working on Galaxy Quest?
No.
Galaxy Quest, which is a fun movie. I could see that again.
I don't know if I've ever seen it.
The idea is it's the cast of a Star Trek type show. They get contacted by aliens who have seen the show and they thought it was like real life on Earth.
That's cute.
Yeah, it's a great premise. So many good people are in it.
Who wrote that?
I don't remember, but we should watch that together because I bet you would like it.
Okay.
But fucking Alan Rickman is in it, who played the Spock guy on the show.
That's gonna make me sad.
I know, but he's so good in it. But there's a story where Tim Allen is in it, and Tim Allen has to do this emotional scene, and so they do the scene.
He got coked up.
To be fair, Tim Allen was just a coke dealer.
He was?
Yeah. He went to jail
He didn't do the coke?
He probably did.
He did the coke.
He, of course, did coke, but he also sold the coke.
All those comics did it. Okay, go on.
Yeah. So he has to do this emotional scene, and after, I think this was either the director or the producer telling the story. I saw it on Twitter. He has to do this emotional scene, and after the scene is over, he says, I have to take a break. I don't know what to do with these feelings that I'm feeling. I have to go take a break. And then he left the set. And then Alan Rickman turned to turned to everyone else and said, I think he's just experienced acting.
That sounds like that story, though, like Laurence Olivier.
No, that's a different story.
But you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I do.
Or he says,
which is also a great
try
story.
Acting. He tells Al Pacino or something.
No, it's Dustin Hoffman. They were doing Marathon Man. And Dustin Hoffman was talking about how for Little Big Man, because he was supposed to be an old man, like he's supposed to be 100 plus years old, telling as the narrator of this story and saying, so to get my voice, to get his voice properly aged or whatever, he screamed in a room for 2 hours or something.
Oh my God, that's a terrible thing to do, by the way.
Of course it is. And he's trying to impress Laurence Olivier. And Laurence Olivier just says, why did you just try acting, dear boy? One of the greatest shutdowns in history.
That reminds me of that sad documentary about Harry Nilsson.
Oh, yeah. Because he purposely tried to ruin his voice.
Yeah.
Guys,
don't watch that documentary because holy shit.
How did we get onto Galaxy Quest?
Because
comedians acting, yes. Okay.
Well, just in general, like, no offense to Jerry Seinfeld, but like...
Can you imagine if he did like a movie where he had to show emotions?
I just think I love Seinfeld. Listen, Seinfeld is a national treasure of a show, like honestly.
Okay.
But the supporting cast in that show, they really did like nail it so hard that he didn't have to.
They brought his game up as far as it could go. So this coach was very cool because the very first day she was asking me like,
do you remember who it was?
I don't. And I have not seen her since, but she was like, how are you feeling about this? And I said, I feel good about it.
Uh-huh.
And she said,
like, they're the ones who made me.
Is there anything that you want you want help with? Do you want to start anywhere in particular? And I said, honestly, like, I mean, how about this? Let me just do it. And then if you see that I'm doing it wrong, you let me know. And she was like, yeah, sure.
I mean, that's kind of not how acting works in terms of you can't do it wrong.
Those were not my exact words. You know what I mean?
Like if you see where I'm having trouble with a certain beat or a certain moment, or I'm not telling the story, I'm not serving the story in a just and fair way.
Yeah. And so I would check in with her.
And she's
after.
like, oh yeah, it's just a dumb She probably was like, it's just a dumb sitcom.
Yes, of course. She didn't care. She was getting paid. I'm sure she was fine, you know? So I would, after the few emotional scenes that there were, I would check in with her and I'm like, what did you think? Was that all right? And she was like, yeah, you got this.
I just am like, I mean, good for her because she was making a paycheck on that set. Like,
and not trying to force a thing that didn't need to be forced, you know?
Yeah.
She wasn't trying to like say, well, I'm here, I'm going to make it happen.
I mean, I would love to have a job though, where they were like, we're going to hire you an acting coach and a voice coach and a movement and an Alexander technique. Cause I would want like the full workup on something, you know?
Yeah.
I've never like had a job where there were demands of me beyond like my capability. Like for example, like Kumail, he's on that Marvel, movie.
Yeah.
And he had to like become a different body for it.
Yeah.
Like I've never been in a position where they were like, we have to hire you a staff of help.
Yeah.
To get you past.
We're not those people, honey. We're not those people.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I'd want that. Like I don't know if I'd want that. Marvel.
No.
I'm not athletic, you know? So like it's not that's not what I would bring. Like I feel like if it was something that was outside of my reach, it would be more like to help me get someplace emotionally with a story, or like to help me with dialect or something, or just like movement or dialect. Like that's the kind of stuff I like to get into.
Sure. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, I have no problem with, you know, if I had to do something that was super dramatic, you know, I would have no problem having somebody on set helping me.
Sure.
No problem at all.
Yeah.
You know? But
like most of the time, like when you're in comedy, like we mostly work in comedy. We're not called on to do those types of things
Right.
so much.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But I won't go into who other comedic people who I can at.
Why don't we take a break and discuss them privately?
Because I have a running list in my head.
Honey, who are you telling?
Please enjoy these messages from our sponsors.
We're so excited to be sponsored by Green Chef again in this new year. Green Chef is the first USDA certified organic meal kit company. Enjoy clean ingredients you can trust, seasonally sourced for peak freshness. Green Chef is the most sustainable meal kit, offsetting 100% of its direct carbon emissions and plastic packaging in every box, so you can feel great about what you're eating and how it got to your table. One of the things I love about getting a Green Chef meal kit box is because I cook a lot, I don't have to do any of the mental planning. They do it all for you. They send you all the ingredients and a step-by-step recipe card so you can have dinner whipped up together very quickly without any time spent on it at all. We have a great deal. Go to greenchef.com/homekins90 and use code homekins90 to get $90 off, including free shipping. That's greenchef.com/homekins90. Use our code homekins90 to get $90 off, including free shipping. Guys, it's a new year. It's a new you. Have you ever wanted to speak to a therapist? Well, you can. I personally speak to a therapist, and it's one of the best decisions I've ever made. BetterHelp will assess your needs and match you with your own licensed professional therapist. You can start communicating in under 48 hours. This is not a crisis line. It's not self-help. It is professional counseling done securely online, and there is a broad range of expertise available in many areas. This service is available for clients worldwide. You can log into your account anytime and send a message to your counselor. You'll get timely and thoughtful responses. Plus, you can schedule weekly video or phone sessions. BetterHelp is committed to facilitating great therapeutic matches, so they make it easy and free to change counselors if needed. It's more affordable than traditional offline counseling, and financial aid is available. Please visit www.betterhelp.com. That's betterhelp.com/homekins. And you can get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/homekins. Do you guys know about Audible? Go get that Audible app ASAP, because it is the leading provider of spoken word entertainment and audiobooks, ranging from bestsellers and new releases to celebrity memoirs, languages, business, motivation, and more, like original entertainment. And now, podcasts. They have just recently launched their newest membership plan, Audible Plus. With Audible Plus, you get full access to their Plus catalog, which is filled with thousands and thousands of select originals, audiobooks, and podcasts, including ad-free versions of popular shows as well as exclusive series. Look, you can listen while working from home, cooking, exercising, on a walk, as a family activity, or just relaxing. Listening helps people feel connected and inspired. Frankly, I like to listen when I'm doing housework. I actually listen to John Hodgman's Vacation Land that way. Visit audible.com/homekins or text homekins to 500-500 to start your free 30-day trial. That's audible.com/homekins or text homekins to 500-500 for a free 30-day trial.
We just learned. That
we're hearing now that there is perhaps another episode of Southern Charm
that we didn't watch.
that we have not seen. Two-part. God, last night I saw like 2 seconds of Brian Williams on the news.
Okay.
Where he drops some highfalutin reference into some question that he's asking of his panel.
Okay.
And then I'm like, what is that from? And then everyone's talking to give their answer, and then they come back to him. It's like, nothing for the Shakespeare quote dropped into the question. Okay, you don't see that on cable news every day. And I was like, can you imagine how tedious this guy is to be around?
What were you doing watching Brian?
It was on in the makeup trailer.
First of all, you never watch. If I were to walk in on you watching the news, I swear to God, I might have to take your temperature immediately.
You see me watch the news before. I used to watch the news a lot more.
Because I watch the news. You're not
No, I used to watch the news on my own, and you know that's true. And don't try to front in front of company.
All I know is that I'm the one who has the news on the most.
Yes, you do.
And that I have to be like, is it okay if I listen to this right now? Because I don't want to.
What do I always say?
Yeah, you say it's fine.
Yeah.
But I want to make sure because.
But you act like you have to beg me. Oh, so the set. I didn't tell you about the set.
Oh. At the Miracle Workers.
Yes, because it's an Old West
Which,
thing.
by the way, did we say how you had to be there until?
I got there at 8, started shooting at
night.
At 1 a.m.
8 at night.
8 at night, started shooting at 1 a.m. and then got home at 4 o'clock.
Because he was like, oh, my call time's at 5:30 p.m. And I was like, oh, okay, that's weird. It must be like an evening backdrop. And then he's like, no, it's 8 p.m. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, it's an overnight. It's an overnight.
Because it was a night scene and it was outdoors. And so they have this Western street built.
Oh, I can't do those overnights, man.
Oh, I was fine. I think because
you're a night owl anyway.
I slept in too.
You're a night owl anyway.
I'm a little bit of a night owl. It's true. And so I felt great. And
all those years of stand-up.
My costume was heavy and thick, so I wasn't cold.
Which, by the way, thank God it wasn't Monday, because you work on Monday morning.
Yes. Oh, that's the other side of the coin, is that my call time Monday morning is 5:30 a.m.
And you're like way far away. You have to go to that ranch. Wait, so it's like at an outdoor ranch. Are there horses and stuff?
Oh, there were horses. There were these gigantic cows. Like, I don't know what breed they are, but they were as tall as a horse. Like, I've never seen cows like this before.
What?
They were huge, yeah. But the street was awesome, and
it's like a real Western town?
I love stuff like that. It looked like a real Western movie town.
Okay, with the the flats and stuff.
Yeah, with the flats.
Yeah.
And there were actual buildings, and there was the hangout area was the saloon, and stuff like that.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was great. I love shit like that, and it was really it feels real show busy. You know what I mean? But people are warning you, like, because there are torches in the street, to be like Old West lighting, and they're like, be careful of the torch that's near your head.
Oh my God.
It was not close enough to me to do anything. But then it's also
there had to be pyro people on the set for that stuff.
Oh, yeah. But be careful of the way you move around the horses if you're close to them, that kind of thing.
Don't stand behind. I always heard don't stand behind a horse. Is that true?
Ooh, I don't know, but that sounds like very good advice.
Because you could get kicked.
Imagine being. Here's what trips me out about horses. They're these gigantic creatures, right? Who, for some reason, you can convince them to allow you to get on their backs and move them around, but they're also so scared of so many things.
They're just sensitive. They're sensitive.
It takes nothing for them to lose their minds.
Like a spooked. Well, here's the thing about, I've noticed that because I have some friends, I can count 3 or 4 friends on my hand that are horsey.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like you're either all in horsey.
Yeah.
Or no, thank you.
Oh yeah. I don't think there's anyone that dabbles really.
No. Because
maybe there are.
I've been on a horse a few times in my life, and I've always been terrified. I don't like heights, number one. I don't like speed either. So I'm kind of like the worst. And I'm also
you don't like moving heights?
Scared of animals. Also, I find it uncomfortable. I have hip dysplasia or something. I'm how am I supposed to control this with my groin? This is uncomfortable. I feel like I have arthritis or something.
I could see how you straddling a horse would be pushing it to the limit because you're small.
I mean, I don't know what I am, but I don't have.
You got to get on a pony.
Well, also, I don't have any core strength. And that's a part of it. There's a lot that I don't have to make this work.
Those cowboys had such good core strength.
They just did, I guess.
You know that was a thing.
They just did.
I would
put it this way. I rode Kulop's bike a couple weeks ago when we went over there. Her new electric bike. First of all, I was terrified. Y'all were staring at me you can do it. And I was like, this is so embarrassing because I almost cannot do this.
To be fair, it was a little scary because the idea was, to show, so we could see what it does on hills.
Like it's an electric bike, and I had never been on I've always had like sort of, I really wanted to try it. Like I thought electric bikes are for me because I don't have a lot of strength and so there was a big hill right off the driveway. So it was like literally just like going straight up. Anyway, I rode that bike, maybe 45 seconds?
You rode it up the hill and then you walked it back down.
I was scared to drive it down the hill.
Oh my God, honey. When we were on our honeymoon and we did the bike, the bike tour.
The bike tour, and it was all downhill. It was like the scariest fucking thing.
We went to Hawaii for honeymoon.
We were on Kauai.
The Garden Isle of Kauai.
Which was fucking awesome.
Oh.
I want to go back there so badly.
Let me tell you something. If you are getting married and
go to Kauai
when things are normal again, and you want to have a nice destination honeymoon, do the honey fund thing.
Oh yeah, we didn't do like physical gifts because we were so old by the time we got married.
Also, it's modern times.
We had a toaster and stuff.
Yeah, you have your shit. You know what I mean?
We weren't like rich enough where we could be like, please donate to.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was like, but we already have a toaster, so I don't know what to do. And then the honeymoon fund
I
thing.
forget who told us about that, but
someone told, and I was like, that's perfect.
Genius.
It's like a little GoFundMe, so you could go.
So we could go to Hawaii and not freak out about every drink that we had.
And by the way, it wasn't cheap.
No,
it was not cheap there.
Woo boy!
There's no way we could have had a honeymoon of that caliber if we hadn't done honeymoon fund.
So that's our recommendation for you.
Yeah, we did that. We went to Kauai, and I booked us this tour. I was like, "Oh, this is going to be great! It's like a bike tour, and we like doing that. Like we did Stanley Park, remember, with Kristen Shaw, and
So this was going to be a bike tour of Waimea Canyon, and which Mark Twain famously called the Grand Canyon of the Pacific. And so
he did. That was him.
So
by the way, not that imaginative. To be honest.
It's not really. It's really not. It's pretty on the nose. It's not poetic.
Guess he just was like the first one.
Well, this is like the Grand Canyon, but in the Pacific Ocean.
You know what? I bet a native called it that, and then he whitewashed it. And he was like, "I thought of this."
Maybe, who knows?
Like a Pacific Islander, and he was like, "I'm going to take this to." The masses and claim it.
That's the tag after the credits in Moana. So a van takes you up to the top of this hill.
I don't know what I was thinking.
And the idea is that you ride the bike down and you can see you have this excellent
You're on the rim,
view of the canyon.
kind of on the rim of it.
Well, two things. Number one, it was incredibly overcast that day. So you could not see the canyon.
Literally, there's
all.
Like a picture of us standing over the standing over the rim of the canyon, and it looks like we could be anywhere US.
Literally anywhere.
Like we're just standing in a cloud.
Yeah.
It was terrible. Luckily we had been there once before.
Yes.
So we had seen the canyon before. Yeah.
The other aspect of it was that Janie
I hate speed.
Had to ride. The trip is all downhill.
Which I didn't know, or I would not. I think the way they describe the tour is it's not challenging or something. And I'm like, perfect, sign me up.
Yeah.
Or whatever. And then
it's a little bit challenging because you have to ride downhill. You have to really monitor the brakes.
All I did was ride the brakes the whole time.
You rode the brakes the entire way down.
I was so tense. My whole body was so tense on the bike the whole way down. I was just
honey, I know.
It was not good.
And then I'm in the middle, so I can see the group ahead of us, but I can also turn around and keep an eye on Janie. And it was hilarious. It was really funny.
It was not. And then another thing that I remember.
And we didn't care
about this.
And people had to wait for us.
People had to wait for us.
And I had a split second where I was like, oh, we're holding up the group. And then I was like, I don't give a fuck.
We're on vacation.
That's my wife.
It's my new wife.
That's my new wife.
A week ago. So wait. So another thing that struck me about excursion was they were like, and we're going and you're gonna have like authentic like Hawaiian snacks or whatever. We're gonna provide you with like authentic Hawaiian snacks. And like literally it was just like at the parking lot of the cashier where you pay for the tour, the guy opened the back of his SUV and it was a couple of like boxes of like tea cookies.
Yeah.
They were like, these are made here. These like tea cookies, Hawaiian tea cookies. And I'm like, what? Like, I thought we were going to get like, like, I don't know, like finger sandwich, like with the crusts. Like, I don't know what I thought.
Famous Hawaiian delicacy. I thought we were going to eat a raw pineapple.
Yeah.
Just bite it and shred our mouths.
Something. I don't know. Like, I was like, this is so funny.
No, but we got little cookies, little local cookies.
Yeah. And I was like, okay.
I remember them as being good.
It was sort of like the kind of thing where it's like, this was the kind of day where we should not have left the resort because we would have been better off just laying by the.
We were going to go on that weird aerial thing.
Yeah, I was like scared of it. I was like, oh, I want to go on a helicopter ride or something aerial thing. And then I was like, you know what? I don't think I can. Like, it was a little too challenging for my heights. And then somebody.
No. They called us and said, we're not doing it today because of weather conditions. And then we saw later on the news.
Local news that somebody died.
Yes.
Guess what? I think that happens a lot there.
It's death season here. So
no, I think it does because, by the way, I feel like but I know like anecdotally of people 1 or 2 degrees away from me who have died on vacation in Hawaii.
Oh God.
Isn't that terrible?
That's horrible.
Like something like scuba or like a bike accident or like something going on where, they're being adventurous. I mean, it wasn't a good idea.
Yes, there are a lot of dangerous activities you could participate in, which we did not. That was about as dangerous as it got for us.
Yeah, I mean, in general, like I'm not a huge like risk take, which is that was my point about when I rode clubs. Okay, so I was like, I want to try the coolest bike, and everyone was like staring at me like I was a toddler, like you can do it, Janie, and I was like, okay. This is so embarrassing. And I was like shaking. This is so sad. I was like shaking. So I went up the hill and I was actually like, I was stunned at how easy it was to take the hill.
It was wild.
Because of the electric bike assist. And I was like, this is pretty rad. And then I was like, oh, now I have to go back down the hill. Now this bike is already a little too tall for me.
Yeah.
That was another thing is that like, and it wasn't a step through bike. It was like, there was a bar in the middle and it's kind of heavy because it has like a console.
It was a boy's bike, not a girl's.
and so like for me to maneuver the bike, cause I had to make a tight U-turn to come down cause it was a narrow curved
Yes. The
road.
Turnaround was a little difficult.
So the turnaround was like out of my control. Like, like when I turned, like it took me off my center of gravity could not hold. Yeah. The bike. So
mere anarchy is loosed upon the world.
So then I was off the bike. So then I was like, I almost like tipped. So I had to step on the asphalt and like recover. And now I'm like off the bike because I had to I had to like unhook my legs to right the bike because I couldn't put both legs down on the ground. Yeah. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so now I'm at the top of a hill with all of this, like, horsepower in this bike. And it's like, I had to go back down to return.
Much like a horse, you were scared.
To return to y'all. And I was like, I can't get on this.
Steel dragon.
I was like, I can't do it. So I just walked it back down. By the way, like when I went up the hill, I was out of their sight. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, what if I never came back down? Like
Are you DB Coopered?
Yeah. Like I just like disappeared. Like it was like a Bermuda Triangle. And they were like, what happened to Janie? It was a mystery. It was a mystery. And then, but I was like, no. So I walked it back down and it was like heavy to walk it down. Mm-hmm. But I did it. My point was, this is all about horseback riding and everything. I have no bodily strength. The next day, my groin was sore. from 45 seconds of riding a bike.
Jesus.
45 seconds of riding a bike
That was electric.
where
you were not even pedaling.
with assist. But I think what it was
You were just sitting on a thing.
it was more than that though, because the bike was a little too large for me.
Yeah.
You know?
And the tension.
Yeah, it was the
being on
tension.
it.
The tension, the shaking, all of y'all like looking at me like, it's okay. Like, come on, you can do it. Like you and Scott and Cool Up were so sweet, but it was also like, I'm just like burning inside. Like I'm literally like, I
didn't know that.
but you don't understand. Like I really wanted to ride the bike because I really did want to try an electric bike.
Yes.
I had never tried an electric bike before. And I was glad that I did because the power, the feeling, it was exhilarating.
The rush
of like going up a hill and like being able to do it was like amazing. It felt like flying. I'm not gonna lie.
But do you think if you had a bike more to your size and you were just riding it around our neighborhood where the hills are not steep, that you would be okay with it?
I would think so because I think if it were my size, then I could be nimble with it. Right. You know, like I could maneuver it.
And you would get a step through for all your petticoats.
I have to get a step through because I just like I can't like dismount a bike well. Like if I need to hop out, like if something's going on where I need to hop off.
Yeah. All bikes should be step-through bikes.
I think they should be.
Yeah.
Is that crazy?
Maybe it's a design thing that there's something beneficial to having that bar there, but I don't know.
I don't know. I've never owned a bike that wasn't step-through.
Hey, if you know, tell us.
I grew up like on cruiser bikes because I lived near the beach.
Yeah, I love cruiser
and
bikes so much.
Like it would be like so much easier to maneuver something like that because, well, first of all, I like brake pedals, but that's not going to happen with an electric bike. You're not going to get brake pedals with an electric bike.
Yeah, it's true. Man, riding a bike is so much fun.
You love riding a bike.
I do.
I like
I'm out of practice, though. It's been a while.
Well, when we went to Vancouver, and we rode bikes in Stanley Park, which is like the funnest thing ever in the world to do.
It's really enjoyable, yeah.
Like that feels so like manageable because it's such a big wide bike path and it's like set up, you know, you don't feel like you're going to be in traffic and have to, you know, it's less scary.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's really pleasant. It's really pleasant.
Yeah.
I feel, I'm in a place now
LA
where
is scary. I can't believe you've ridden a bike in LA like a lot.
Oh man, I used to before I learned how to drive. I had a cruiser bike that I rode all over town.
Which I don't understand because now when I drive and I'm having to negotiate commuter bikers, I feel like it feels dangerous to me.
Oh yeah.
Like there are times when someone's in my blind spot, and then, you know, I'm making a move and then they come out of my blind spot and they're like, what the fuck? And now I'm like trying to be like super mindful of bikers because they're trying to like encourage more commuter types, but there's no good bike paths on our streets.
Not nearly
like
enough.
A lot of the roads share with a bike path.
Yeah.
Like it's just the road.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like all they did is paint a bike symbol on the road to be like, hey, don't forget to go around this person.
We suggest this is where bikes might be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think LA is a little scary because of car culture, but like.
Yeah. I feel like I'm more scared of it now being a driver than I was before I drove. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
I think because now that I'm a driver, I'm more scared for people on bikes.
Yeah.
And
totally.
It's because I was not a big chance taker. Like I wore a helmet and you know,
law here too.
I was very I was not afraid to get on the sidewalk if it was dicey. Like I wouldn't, you know, which you're not supposed to. I think legally you're not supposed to get on the sidewalk,
you're not supposed to, but
it's like it's like I'll do that if it's
empty.
If it's empty and it's feasible. I'd rather do that than compete with cars and give somebody else a fucking heart attack. But I can't believe when I think about it now, how close I would get to buses and things like that.
Oh, God.
There was a feeling, and I used to love it too. When I would ride my bike and like a bus would come up next to me, that it felt like the image that I had in my mind is of being a diver if a whale swam next to you.
Sure.
And I wanted to like reach out and touch the bus.
I don't understand that mindset at all, because if I were a diver and a whale swam up next to me, I would be so terrified.
You know my famous story about the whale in the National History Museum in New York.
Oh, yes. The fake whale, the stuffed whale.
Yes.
It's not a real whale.
But it's to scale that hangs from the ceiling. As seen in the movie The Squid and the Whale.
How come you didn't write that movie if you had such a experience?
Damn, that's a good question. Because I never saw the squid. I was missing a key ingredient. When I was a kid, I forget how old I was. I might have been 8 or 9, something like that. And maybe younger. But my dad took me and my brothers to New York. We went and saw the Radio City Music Hall Rockette show. So it was around Christmas time or getting into Christmas time.
It had to have been holidays then.
We saw the movie Pete's Dragon. And then we went to, at some point we went to the museum. Was this all in one fucking day? It must have been.
You
we didn't like get a hotel room.
You had to have spent the night.
No, I don't think we did. I think we took the train back. Anyway, so we went to the Natural History Museum.
Wait, it was you and your dad and who else?
Mark and Alan, my brothers.
Oh, your brothers. Okay.
And so I went into that room that had the blue whale hanging from the ceiling, and I looked up at it, and it was so huge, and I was just like staring straight up at it. And I was so overwhelmed by how big it was that I fell down. I fell down.
I get it.
I was just like,
I get it.
How? And I think we went back there when we lived there. Me, you, and Samantha went. Was Wade there too?
You know, I have pictures of that day.
Yeah, I think it was just the three of us.
I think it was just the three of us. It was me, you, and Samantha.
And I looked up at that whale, and I had almost the same feeling. Like,
you know, you can spend the night under that whale.
I remember hearing about that.
Sleeping bag.
Yeah.
It's like a program at the museum. Mm-hmm. If I saw a whale, I've never seen a whale in like the wild or anything.
You remember that whale watching trip?
Oh my God. We were talking about a lot of vacations that we taken, which number one sounds bougie. Number two, I think number two is like also we are like kind of wishing we
dying to remember other places we've been
somewhere.
Yes,
since we've only been in this house.
Yeah.
For a year.
Yeah,
almost. We went to Iceland.
Yeah, we went on a whale watching boat. And
I was like, did we talk? I swear we talked about this on the podcast.
We may
because
have.
we talked about the people throwing up left and right on
throwing up like crazy. And then you, like, the motion of the boat put you to sleep.
I got really, I didn't think I had, like I could get motion sick because I've been on boats before.
Yeah. But
although
this was
the one
extreme.
time I got sick because I drank too much Budweiser.
That's right. That was in Hawaii.
I was on that booze cruise, and then I was like, "I'm feeling," and then I
remember it was advertised as a booze cruise, and then later you were like, "I don't know how that happened."
I've had beer. You know how many times I've been out on the boat drinking a beer, and it's no big deal. Like
your thing is, you forget your own rules,
which is
the rules of
don't
of
drink
your,
too much Budweiser.
Yeah, the rules of your system, like you forget.
Because I'm like. Yeah, okay, fine.
You get caught up in the moment. I get it.
But the whale watching trip in Iceland was different because it was not a booze cruise. It was like a day. It was like a morning thing. Yeah. We got there and it was cold.
Freezing cold.
And I was like excited because I've never seen a whale. Mm-hmm. And so it is like rough.
Yeah.
Rough water. I mean, rough.
Yeah.
Like the wind is loud. Like if you're on the deck, the wind is loud where you're having to shout. Like, do you want to go in and get a drink or whatever? And like all these tourists are being like jostled around and like they're just like puking left and right. And then they're just like hosing off the deck. And I was like, okay, I think I have to go down below. And then Paul like escorts me down below, and it's like
we sat like at a little table with a window.
Because I wanted to be on the deck because I wanted to see a whale.
Yeah. But it was so crazily cold, and the wind was so like icy.
And so we went underneath, and I proceeded to have like motion sickness. Like I was like staring out into space, like where I like almost couldn't stay awake.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was like falling asleep, but I felt a little nauseous.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think I was going to get sick.
Yeah.
But it was like it was like I was being hypnotized. Like I couldn't keep my eyes open. It was like like rocking me into this weird trance.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think you got me a hot chocolate at one point.
Yeah.
And then the sugar helped like snap.
I think you kind of just put your head down.
Yeah, because I was being lulled into like a hypnotic state or something. It was weird. I've never been like I've flown. I've been on boats. On trains. Like I've never.
You've been on that pirate ship ride that just goes up and down.
That used to be my favorite ride.
That ride
is terrifying.
It's terrifying, but it also gives you that crazy feeling in your stomach.
I can't believe I like that ride now because like I don't love heights, but it used to be my like as a kid. That was
kind of
like
a great ride.
My favorite ride.
It's kind of a great ride.
It is such a good ride.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I've been on all that stuff and I never experienced that kind of thing. And it was so miserable. And I didn't even, hurl, but it was so miserable that I was like, I don't know if you ever think about like old timey, like people making passage across, how like there's nothing you can do to escape the situation.
Yeah.
Like you just have to ride it through.
Yeah. You have zero choice.
Yeah. And like, so I was like thinking about like all those like old timey people that like
your ancestors.
Yeah. I mean, my ancestors for sure, like my grandparents.
Before they
got on a damn boat.
But when they were the Haddads.
they weren't Haddad, they were Haddad. Haddad. Yeah. A double cuckoo.
Double cuckoo. What does this mean?
I know you've said that before too.
I know.
Are we just the same every week?
Yeah, that's our charm.
Really?
We do the same episode week after week.
For real? Also, last week you did not do the Jay Leno impression, and people were...
Look, you get what you get. You don't get upset.
People were upset, and I was like, maybe Paul will do the Jay Leno, like, tonight.
YGWYPF.
Come on. Why not? You did a little... didn't you do... What'd you do earlier? Seinfeld or someone? Or
You know what? I did a very bad Alan Rickman. I could do a better Alan Rickman.
Oh, the Alan Rickman.
I think you just experienced acting. That's better. That's a better one. There you go.
I like that one.
All right. I improved on an impression that I did earlier. I'm not going to do the Jay Leno.
Why are you withholding Jay Leno from us?
I don't know. I'm mercurial. I'm a little devil.
You really are.
Right? I am, though.
You really are. And you were out until 3:30 in the morning last night.
Damn. Oh, so the way back, because I couldn't get cell service immediately
Which is
after
terrifying
leaving
in LA,
compound.
y'all.
Let me tell you something. When you're in a place like this where there's no streetlights, like you're leaving.
You're in the forest. It's dark.
You're in the forest. And so I had to make a decision. Do I turn left or right so I can try to drive somewhere to get a signal? I made the wrong decision. It was not, I was like, I think I came from over there. I did not come from over there. I went the wrong way. And so when I finally got a signal, the GPS put me on this windy road for 14 miles. And I was the only car on the road. It was pitch black, just me and the road.
I would be having like a heart attack at this point. It
was kind of scary, but I was very mindful of taking the corners and, like not realizing I don't know what's around the bend and all that.
Yeah, because there could be like a bloody stranger standing in the street.
A bloody stranger.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you did last summer.
Like you round a corner and there's a bloody
guy
stranger.
in a Gorton's fisherman outfit. He's got a big hook.
Was that in I Know What You Did Last Summer?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
You just said the other day you remembered that movie.
I do remember that movie.
Well, I'm surprised you don't remember that because it's very important.
I just remember like they were like
you might have been wearing black oilskins
like
instead
they
of
were
yellow.
on like Mulholland and like I just remember, weren't they like on Mulholland
I
on the
don't
movie at night? And then they had to back up and then drive away.
No, they kill like a old fisherman or something. Are we thinking? Am I wrong?
No, but they kill it, but because they round the corner on Mulholland. They're like partying or something.
But I don't think
And
it's
then they
set in
round-
Los Angeles, though. They might have been on Mulholland, but I don't think that's where it
No,
was
I
set.
think it was set in Los Angeles.
Are we gonna have to fucking watch this movie now?
Kind of. I actually kind of want to see it again because it was good. It was good.
Okay. Wait. So, but on the way home, I listened to, and I'm going to say this. Let's segue into recommendations. This is my recommendation.
Oh, I forgot recommendations.
Because my daughter Natalie was on a podcast recently called Good Christian Fun.
Which, by the way, he doesn't really have a daughter.
No, but I love.
He has a millennial friend.
I love making people think that I do because I always get one person who's like, "What?"
Your sister. Your sister that time.
Sister, that's right. I forgot about that.
I have like zero tolerance for like
Shout out to Anne. Thank you for listening.
I have like such low tolerance for dishonesty. Like I can't even let it.
Oh, okay.
I'm into
Boy,
like facts.
Polly purebred over
I'm
here.
into facts. Anyway, Natalie
she
was on a podcast.
A wonderful podcast called Good Christian Fun. And where the two hosts, it's Kevin Porter, whom I have met, and I want to get the name right of his co-host because she and I have not met that I know of. This is me trying to sound saucy. But they were talking about so the idea of the podcast is you talk about Christian related entertainment, and it's all very irreverent. Although the two hosts are Christian, but they're not humorless about it. So it's really fun, and especially if you grew up with any kind of religion, with Christian religion, then it's really enjoyable to listen to. But you don't have to have grown up Christian to appreciate it. It's very funny and very.
So you
entertaining.
listened to it on the way on the 14-mile country road.
No, I did not listen to the podcast. What I listened to was.
Oh, you did not listen to the podcast.
No, I'm going to tell Caroline Eli, Kevin T. Porter and Caroline Eli. And so they had Natalie on to talk about the movie Jesus Christ Superstar. And hearing them talk about it made me want to listen to the soundtrack again, which I hadn't listened to in a while. And man, it's so good.
Oh, yeah. Because
It's so good.
And Cynthia loves it too.
Yeah, it's great.
Because she plays it all the time for dinner parties.
Yeah, man. It absolutely, if I may, it slaps. It's really, really good.
Wait, who wrote that one?
That was, of course, your boy, Andrew Lloyd Webber and Tim Rice.
Wait, I thought like you were not an Andrew Lloyd Webber fan.
No, I like some stuff.
Okay.
I like some stuff. Some stuff is just ridiculous. But Jesus Christ Superstar is unassailable. It is very good. Like both in concept and in execution.
Okay.
Like the songs are great. And the idea of it is questioning. It's the same questions you have about religion and
is that the one like John Legend and Sarah Bareilles?
Yeah, we watched that. Yeah.
That was pretty fun.
Yeah. We should watch the movie, though. I haven't seen the movie. I have not seen the movie since we did on Mr. Show a Jesus Christ Superstar parody.
Okay.
And that's probably the last time I watched that movie.
Okay.
So we should watch it. I think it would.
It would be good.
It would be fun to watch. Yeah.
All right, I'll check that out.
Maybe you want to watch along.
Is that a watch along?
It could be. I don't know. It's a musical. It's a rock opera, so maybe not.
A lot of people suggest watch alongs. Unfortunately, a lot of them we can't do.
Yeah. Here's what we're going to do, though. We are going to look and see what's available that's streaming right now.
Yeah.
That's sort of got like a classic kind of vibe that, is a well-known movie that would be a fun thing.
Yeah. We people suggest comedies and we can't do comedy watch-alongs.
I don't think comedies are good for watch-alongs. I don't know.
Are they? I mean, not really.
It's a different kind of timing. I think drama has a lot more slow spots that lend themselves better to conversation.
What's especially good for a watch along is a movie that takes itself very seriously.
Agreed.
Like, for example, when we did Interview with the Vampire.
Yes.
It's like
or Urban Cowboy for that matter.
it just takes itself seriously, and and sometimes it's of its era, right? And so you can kind of like there's a juxtaposition of like seeing it through modern eyes or seeing it through kind of I don't know, just
it's
a relic or
like
something.
The idea of things holding up is really wild to me. Like I was so surprised by Seven and how I felt about it afterwards. Yeah, it's fun to revisit these things sometimes, especially if you've forgotten a lot about it.
Well, like David Fincher is like so good. Do you think that he looks at Seven and he's like, God, if I were going to make that today, like, this would be so
you
different.
know what? I have no doubt. I mean, I think that's the nature of doing a thing and then having it be a permanent record. Look, this is a bigger. We don't have time to get into this, but it is something I'm fascinated by people that want to like endlessly tinker with their own work.
I am. It's like my recommendation is I watched the Tiger Woods documentary.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And
it's good.
Yeah, it's
Sorry.
Paul just tried to gag me with my microphone, which is kind of like ironic, right?
Because of this dumb table runner. I like table runners, but sometimes it's like,
what do they really do for us? You know what I'm saying? What do they bring? What do they bring to the table?
Right. They're decorative. They do protect the table. Like we can put things on
in
them.
the middle, not on the sides.
That's what placemats are for.
Or you could go full on tablecloth.
You could, which we do have tablecloths that we never use.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
Tablecloth
First of all,
for two people is
by
weird.
the way, we never eat at the table. We rarely
We were on a good... We got to get out of here.
Also, like, it's embarrassing that we don't eat at the table because...
I'm not embarrassed. I'm not ashamed.
Whatever.
This is America, goddammit. We eat in front of the TV.
Like, I've had lunch standing over the sink, shoveling food into my mouth.
Visiting your bachelorhood. Revisiting your bachelorhood.
I might stand in front of the open fridge, just like...
Oh, and by the way, we each have one plate. That's one thing we brought to the marriage for our single days.
Yeah. Whatever.
All right, we got to go.
I like the
so
Tiger
you recommend
Woods.
the Tiger Woods documentary?
I liked it because there's like a very psychological element I find like to, like sport. I don't watch sports that much, but I'm fascinated by the personalities in that world.
Yes. Like I don't watch basketball, but we loved The Last Dance. It's fascinating. You can't help but be wrapped up in that. Like get caught up in that when you're watching it.
And golf is such a solitary. I mean, like, here's the thing is like, I loved, I read the Andre Agassi memoir. Like, I know I talk about it all the time.
You don't. I'm just remembering. I'm remembering that he wore a wig to play tennis.
I love his book so much. Like his book so much. Like I don't really watch tennis. I don't really watch golf. I don't really watch basketball. But I'm very interested in the lifestyles of like being a solitary person in a field. Like as a tennis player, you are just yourself. Just as a golfer, like you are alone. But like it's also interesting. Like when we watch the Michael Jordan thing, like how you have to be a part of a team, and that's a whole other skill set, And I kind of relate more like as an actor, but you probably relate more to the other stuff as a stand-up, like this tennis and golf.
But then because of improv and stuff like that, like,
right, like
I get the team thing. Yeah.
The team thing. So it's, I don't know, like I just find it was kind of, it was a lot. I mean, it was a lot. There was a lot.
Tiger Woods, he's a lot.
He just was like, I don't know, and like families and like relations. It's just, I thought it was interesting. I highly recommend it.
There we go.
I just recommend it.
Look, she just recommended it.
If you're interested in like the human condition, check it out.
If you're not, good luck.
I find
why don't you go to Mars?
SpaceX. Human condition is like endlessly surprising. It's endlessly mysterious. And it's also like infinitely relatable on some level.
A human level?
A human level. Well, check us out anyway on Instagram at stayfhomekins.
Check us out anyway. Instagram, we are stayfhomekins. Twitter, we are stayfhomekins. We are stayfhomekins@gmail.com if you want to email us.
Mm-hmm.
We thank you all for listening and for all your comments and well wishes.
Thanks for helping us through this pandemic.
Yeah, man, you're helping us too. It's true.
It's not fun.
But we are very grateful for you, and we will be back next week. Until then, stay safe, stay sane, and stay home.
Ma.
Watch Ma.